What is going on, everybody? My name is Andy and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you noobs everything about 1.17. So strap in, as this video is going to be a long one. The first addition to the game we are going to look at is the new blocks, and these new blocks include: first up, we have the Amethyst Bud. Now this grows from budding amethyst, which is found in the amethyst geodes. It will start out small but grows into medium and large after more time and will eventually become an amethyst cluster. Unlike crops, each growth stage is a separate block instead of a block state, and this will drop only when mined with a Silk Touch pickaxe, and there is a total of 3 different stages. Next up, we have the Amethyst Cluster, the final mature stage of the Amethyst Bud, which grows from budding amethyst in amethyst geodes. It will drop amethyst shards if broken in an amount affected by fortune, but can also be picked up with Silk Touch and can emit a light level of 5. Next up, we have Azalea. This has variants with either no blossoms or pink blossoms. It is a bush-like block that can be planted on dirt and grass blocks. Both azaleas can grow from moss blocks when bone meal is used on them. The variant with pink blossoms is seen as small flowers by the game. As an example, bees can pollinate them. Azalea leaves. These also has variants with either no blossoms or pink blossoms, and this can yield azalea and sticks when it's decaying. The variant with pink blossoms is seen as small flowers, similar to the azalea, and bees can pollinate them. We also have a block of amethyst. This is a decorative block found in amethyst geodes, and unlike the budding amethyst, the block of amethyst can be obtained just when mined and can also be crafted with 4 amethyst shards. We also have a block of copper. This can be crafted with 9 copper ingots and can also be crafted back into 9 copper ingots. When it is oxidized, it changes texture into a turquoisey green over time. It can be stopped from oxidizing by combining it with honeycomb to create a waxed block of copper. Honeycomb can also be used or applied with a dispenser to wax them. Axes can be used to scrape off wax and oxidization at one stage at a time. Lightning may also clean oxidization, reverting the process by one or several stages. This can also be crafted into cut copper, and there are 7 variants in total. Next up, we have blocks of raw metal. Raw copper, raw gold, and raw iron can be crafted into the respective blocks of raw metal. Budding amethyst. This generates in amethyst bud/clusters on any side that is exposed either to air or a water source block. This cannot be obtained when mined even with Silk Touch, and it actually doesn't drop anything. It will break immediately if pushed by a piston or sticky piston, and it will generate in amethyst geodes. Next up, we have calcite, which is an off-white stone that generates in geodes between smooth basalt and amethyst. We also have candles, and they can come with 16 different dye types and a yellowish non-dye type. They can be lit by any item that produces fire, and up to 4 can be placed in a single block, similar to sea pickles, for a maximum light level of 12. Only 1 can be placed on an uneaten cake and lit. It can be placed underwater, but it cannot be lit. We also have cave vines, a natural light source with a light level of 14 that will drop glowberries, and will grow from glowberries when placed on the underside of a block. There is also cobbled deep slate, which drops from deep slate when it is mined with a pickaxe without Silk Touch. It can be used interchangeably with cobblestone and blackstone in crafting recipes of basic tools, furnaces, and brewing stands. It can also be crafted into its respective stairs, slabs, and walls. You can also get polished deep slate, chiseled deep slate bricks, and deep slate tiles, which can be used to craft their respective stairs, slabs, and walls, except chiseled deep slate. This can also be smelted back into deep slate. We also have copper ore, which generates randomly around in small blobs. Copper ore generates uniformly between levels of 0 and 64. It will also drop raw copper when mined, and can be smelted into a copper ingot. We also have cut copper, which can be made into stair and slab variants. This will also oxidize and change texture over time. It can be stopped from oxidizing by combining it with honeycomb to create wax cut copper, and there are actually 7 variants in total. Similar to this, we have the cut copper slab and the cut copper stairs. Next up we have deep slate, which is a dark grey stone that generates in blobs between heights of 0 and 16. This has a hardness value greater than that of stone, however it can be mined with any pickaxe, and it will drop cobbled deep slate when mined, and can only be obtained with a silk touch pickaxe. There are 19 variants, which include cobbled deep slate slabs, cobbled deep slate stairs, cobbled deep slate walls, polished deep slate slabs, polished deep slate stairs, polished deep slate walls, deep slate bricks, cracked deep slate bricks, deep slate brick slabs, deep slate brick stairs, deep slate brick walls, deep slate tiles, cracked deep slate tiles, deep slate tile slabs, deep slate tile stairs, deep slate tile wall, and finally chiseled deep slate. We also have deep slate ore, which is an added deep slate variant of all the ores including iron, gold, copper, coal, diamond, redstone, emeralds and lapis lazuli. This will take twice as long to mine as normal ores. This has the texture of deep slate, replacing the normal stone texture. And this takes place of ores that generate in deep slate, can be used in blasting and smelting recipes like normal ores. Next up we have drip leaves. This allows an entity to stay on it for 1.5 seconds, aka 30 in-game ticks, before the entity will fall through. This will come in 2 sizes, which are small and big. Small can be applied with bone meal to grow into big. Both sizes can be found inside lush caves, which can currently be accessed through the single biome, caves or floating island world types. We also have dripstone blocks, which is a decoration block. It appears to be made of the same materials as stalactites and stalagmites, but as a full cube. This generates mainly in the dripstone caves biome, which is also currently available only through the single biome, caves or floating island world types, and it can also be crafted from 4 pointed dripstone. We also have glow item frames, which are placeable entities that appear to glow. They do not affect the light level, but appear as if lit up by themselves. The items placed inside them will also glow. This is crafted using an item frame and a glow ink sac, and this includes application to maps. Next up we have glow lichen. This is a naturally occurring light source that is found rarely in caves, growing on any face of a block. This has a light level of 7, and it has to be obtained with shears, otherwise it breaks. This does not spread naturally, although bone meal can be used to spread it horizontally or vertically if it's on the side of a block. This actually can be waterlogged, and unlike vines, it does not pop off when underwater and it isn't climbable. Now up to 6 can be put on the same block space, which merges it into one block. Next up we have hanging roots. This is a decorative block that can only be placed on the underside of a block. This is obtained with shears, otherwise it will break. It can be obtained using a hoe on rooted dirt, turning it into normal dirt. We also have infested deep slate, which is an infested variant of deep slate and will spawn a silverfish when mined. There is actually a new block called light, which is a new waterloggable source of light, and it is originally from Bedrock Edition. This is only available with commands such as /give, and this will behave like air and is only visible when the item is held, similar to barriers. The light level it is emitting can be changed by interacting with it. We also have lightning rods. These can be crafted with 3 copper ingots, and lightning strikes within a 32 block radius get redirected to the lightning rod. This will also give off a redstone signal with a strength of 15 if hit by lightning, and can be activated directly by throwing a trident with channeling at it during a thunderstorm, though this does not produce a redstone signal. Next up we have a moss block. This is an opaque block with a grass-like texture on all sides. It can be fertilized with bone meal to grow grass, tall grass, moss carpets and both types of azalea on it. This can be fertilised with bone meal to grow over and expand across stone surfaces. This will break when pushed by a piston or a sticky piston, and it can be combined with cobblestone or stone bricks to make mossy versions of those blocks. Both axes and hoes are an appropriate tool to collect, and it can be used to plant small drip leaves. Moss carpet has the same texture as the moss block, however it is only 1 pixel thick. It can be crafted with moss blocks or be obtained by applying bone meal to them. We also include pointed dripstone. This can either be placed on a ceiling to create a stalactite or on top of a block to create a stalagmite. Thrown tridents can actually break pointed dripstone. They also break when pushed directly or with a block by a piston. Stalagmites break if not attached to something below, and stalagmites hurt entities that fall on top of them more than normal fall damage. And stalactites can break or fall if unsupported and break apart on impact, but they will also hurt entities they fall on. We also include powder snow. This is a variant of snow that entities will walk over and sink into. Leather boots can actually be worn to prevent entities from sinking into powder snow blocks. When inside a powder snow block, a frosty vignette appears around the player's screen, and any entity, with the exception of strays, polar bears and snow golems, inside will start to freeze and take damage. The powder snow can be collected in a bucket, and entities on fire will actually melt powder snow. We also have rooted dirt, which is a dirt-like decorative block with roots on its texture. Similar to coarse dirt, neither mycelium nor grass can spread to it, and using bone meal on any of the sides will grow hanging roots underneath. Next up we have the Skulk sensor. This is a redstone component that can actually detect vibrations. They do not generate naturally and can only be given from commands such as /give. This senses vibrations such as block placement, footsteps and projectiles, and will emit a redstone signal. They will also emit particles when it senses a vibration nearby. A comparator connected to it will emit different signal strengths based on what caused the signal. This does not detect ambient weather such as rain, and wall blocks will actually prevent the sensor from detecting sound. Next up we also have the smooth basalt, which is a basalt variant that composes the outer layer of amethyst geodes and can be obtained by smelting basalt. We also have spore blossoms, which are currently only available in creative or in the buffer/custom worlds, which are currently used for the lush caves biome. They can be placed only on the underside of a block, and this will send green particles downwards when opened, and the particles appear in the air around the block. Finally, out of those blocks, we have tinted glass, which is a black variant of glass that is transparent to players, but it does not let through light. This can be crafted with 4 amethyst shards and a glass block, and it can drop itself if mined without silk touch or even by hand, unlike glass. And finally we have tuff, which is a deep greyish stone that generates in blobs between levels 0 and 16. Wow, that was a lot of blocks, but that's not all you noobs. We actually have some brand new items being added into the game, so let's get on with those. First up we have amethyst shards. These can be obtained from breaking amethyst clusters, and the amount of dropped can be increased with the fortune enchantment, and they can be used to craft tinted glass, blocks of amethyst and spyglasses. Next up we have my favourite new item to the game, Bucket of Axolotl. This can be obtained by using a water bucket on an axolotl similar to fish, and can be used to carry around and empty out axolotls also similar to fish. We also have the bundle, which is only available at the moment from the give command, and it is used to store other items except shulker boxes inside of it. It can only hold 1 stack of an item, but is able to hold different types of item inside it. So the bundle's contents can actually be opened by pressing the use button while holding it, and it will throw out its entire empty contents into the world, and when destroyed as an entity it drops the items it is currently holding. Next up we have copper ingots. These can be obtained by smelting raw copper or copper ore, and they can be used to craft the copper blocks, lightning rods and spyglasses. We also have glow berries, which can be eaten and restore 2 hunger, and they will grow on cave vines. We also have the glow ink sac, which is dropped by glow squids when it is killed, and can be used to craft glow item frames, and can be used to make text glow on signs. We also have the powder snow bucket, which is obtained by using buckets on powder snow. This can be used to place a powder snow block wherever it is used, or can be used to fill cauldrons with powder snow. We also have raw copper, which drops from copper ore when mined with a stone pickaxe or higher without using silk touch, and can be smelted into copper ingots. Next up, we have raw gold. This drops from gold ore when mined with an iron pickaxe or higher without silk touch, and can be smelted into gold ingots. Piglins will also attempt to pick up raw gold. We also have raw iron. This drops from iron ore when it is mined with a stone pickaxe or higher without silk touch, and can be smelted into iron ingots. We also have spawn eggs, which is added axolotl spawn eggs, goat spawn eggs, and glow squid spawn eggs. We also have the spyglass, which is actually one of my favourite items. It is crafted with 2 copper ingots and an amethyst shard, and when used in, it zooms in on whether the player is looking, but it does limit their view to just a square. Now, I know some of you noobs out there are going to be like, Optifine's better, which is technically true, however, it is very cool. And there is actually a unique animation for using the spyglass, which is visible in a third-person perspective or by another player. Up next, ya noobs, we have the brand new mobs being added into the game. First up, we have probably my new favourite mob, the axolotls. Now these can only spawn in complete darkness and where there's a natural stone block less than 5 blocks below the spawning space. This is the first amphibian added to Minecraft. This can be caught using a water bucket like fish and can be bred using buckets of tropical fish. They also come in 5 different colours: leucistic, yellow, brown, cyan and blue, with blue being the rarest as they actually have a 1 in 1200 chance of spawning. The axolotl will also play dead when receiving damage on water, and it will gain regeneration 1. It will attack drowned, guardians, elder guardians, squids, glow squids and fish, dealing 2 hearts of damage. If a player kills a mob an axolotl is in combat with, the player gets a regeneration 1 effect and is rid of mining fatigue if they have it. So you want these guys in while you're taking on one of them big old ocean temples. Next up, we have the goats that will spawn in mountain biomes. They can jump higher than other mobs to avoid obstacles, and that is up to 10 blocks high. They take reduced fall damage. They avoid powder snow by jumping over it. They can be bred with wheat to produce a baby goat, and a bucket can be used on them to get milk. At the moment, they do not drop anything, and they have a 2% chance of spawning as a screaming goat, which are more hostile and make different noises. Finally, we have the glow squid, which originates from the mob of the same name in Minecraft Earth. Underwater, they behave like a regular squid. They can again only spawn in complete darkness where there's a natural stone block less than 5 blocks below the spawning space. It is attacked by axolotls without provocation. They drop glowing sacs when killed, and it does not affect the light level but appears as if it's lit up. It glows in the same way that magma cube cores, vexes, blazes, and the eyes of spiders drowned in Enderman do. They stop glowing for a short time and swim away quickly after taking damage. Now, the last bit we have for you noobs is all about the world generation. So, first up, we have the amethyst geodes. This is a new feature found uncommonly underground, and they can actually rarely appear exposed to the surface close to sea level. They contain blocks of amethyst and budding amethyst blocks, which are encased in a shell of calcite and smooth basalt. They generate between Y level 70 and Y level 0, and they will override standard cave and ravines, but is overridden by mine shafts. They currently have a high generation rate, presumably for testing purposes, as with ruined portals in the 1.16 snapshots. Finally, we have the azalea trees. These generate above lush caves, either on the surface or underground. Now, lush caves do not generate in normal worlds as of yet, and they consist of azalea leaves, which have 2 variants, oak logs and rooted dirt. Now, there are actually 2 new biomes that are added into the game but do not spawn naturally in the world. So if you would like to see the new biomes and everything about them, leave a like on this video so I know. Anyway, that is all from me now, and I hope I am back into my uploading rhythm for videos, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace!